Hi, welcome back to my channel, dedicated to your personal growth and development. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 things you can do during challenging times to get the most out of them, no matter how long or how short, and no matter whether these challenging times occur at home or at work. What I'm talking about when I say challenging times, circumstances, events, could be anything from having to be around someone who really irritates you, to having a big change occur, again, whether that's at home or at work, like job loss, a big change initiative, a divorce, or it could be something like a serious illness. Any situation that's different than what's been, sort of your normal that negatively impacts you. But before I get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. So let's get started. Okay, so the 5 things you can do to make the most out of challenging times. I hate to say it, but they're going to have to do mostly with your mindset. And that's usually the last thing any of us wants to change. But really, that's really the point, I think, of most of these challenging times. So let's turn to the first one. And that is to actually cultivate a healthy dissatisfaction with what is normal or the status quo. That sounds like kind of weird, but they say that there's the quote that there's nothing constant but change. And this is really true. I mean, yeah, there are parts of our lives that are fairly routine, but there's so much going on in the world that we can't control, that there's change going on around us. And at one point or another, things are bound to impact us personally. So having this healthy dissatisfaction is really welcoming the change, going, okay, it's change, bring it on, come on. What's it gonna mean for me? And really looking at it instead of, oh gosh, not again. I was just getting used to whatever my routine was. You have to sort of be in that mindset of, change is opportunity. And it's going to bring you new people, new things, but also new ways that you can cultivate in yourself to become a bigger and better person. So cultivate that healthy dissatisfaction with the status quo and welcome and embrace the change. The next thing is the mindset change, is to really look to clarify what's going on during the change. A lot of times when something happens to us, of course, we're coming from our perspective, so we can only see kind of myopically what's right in front of our eyes. And if you clarify what's going on, you really need to take the approach of what it's like to look at an impressionist painting. The painting that are made with all the dots, and you look at them up close and you just see a bunch of colors that don't make any sense. But it's not until you back up far enough that you can actually see that all those dots kind of come together and they make something that makes sense to us. They make a larger picture. Other people talk about getting up on the balcony. So you get some perspective, you back up and try to pull away enough, not necessarily physically, but in your mind's eye, so that you can get the larger picture of what's going on. It's kind of hard to do, but it takes you out of yourself. And I think that's one thing when you're going through a challenging time is, yes, it involves you, but oftentimes it's not about you. And so we have to be able to get some perspective on it in order to see it more clearly. The third thing is to look at what you can control. Again, like I said, a lot of change happens around you, but it's really not about you. It sweeps you up though. So you can't control a lot of what's going on. And as our parents and teachers and other people in our lives have probably said, you can only control yourself. So you look at the things you can control. Things like check in with your values. Like during this change, what are the things that are most important to me? So knowing your core values is something good to do sometime in your life, so that it makes they help you navigate things like these challenging times. Other things you can look at are, gee, what's this bringing up for me? There might be feelings of unworthiness. You might have some feelings of incompetence in yourself. You might have some feelings that you're unlovable that go way back into your childhood that you haven't really faced before. So it's those kind of feelings that could be making you react in certain ways during the challenging time or the change, that it's really that challenge is helping to bring those up so that you can look at them. And another thing that you can control, of course, are your own actions and behaviors. So it's that old adage of making sure that you are responding to things and not reacting to them. So you really need to become aware of what you can control. And one thing you can control is your behavior and the way you respond in these challenging times. The fourth thing, or the fourth piece of the mindset puzzle here during challenging times, is to really become disciplined and focused. Going back to what I said before about values, you can become very disciplined and focused on what really matters according to your own values, right? So you can do that, and you can make sure that you are staying present in the situation. That goes back again to helping you not be reactive. If you stay present with what's happening instead of trying to go back to the past and saying, yeah, but it used to be this way and I want to go back to that way. Well, guess what? It isn't that way anymore. So you need to be in the present, and you can't be looking forward too far because you don't know what's going to happen and how all the pieces are going to play out. So you just have to stay focused and present, and that in and of itself can help you stay less reactive. Because when you're focused on what's going on and the people that you're interfacing with, then you can be very mindful of how you do want to respond. And finally, the fifth part of the mindset that is helpful during challenging times is this idea of owning up to your part of it, to confess and forgive. Now, this is not religious connotations. If you want to do anything in your place of worship, that's fine, ritualistically, whatever you do as far as confession, etc., and forgiveness. But what I'm really talking about is owning up to your part in what's going on in the challenging situation, because it's most likely that there is a piece of it, whether you started it or not. Certainly some of your responses and reactions may have contributed to what's going on. So own up to it. That means you got to let go of playing the victim. You got to let go of wanting to be right about what should be or what we should be doing in this situation. And you have to let go of wanting to go back to the old way things used to be. Those things are not going to be helpful, and they're probably not going to happen. So whatever you don't want to change, you got to let go of your attachment to what was or what you think should be. You just kind of have to go with the flow and keep being very mindful and present and all the things I've talked about before, and go with it. Because usually during these challenging times, really the overarching benefit to you is it gives you an opportunity to look at yourself and look at some of these deeply held beliefs or patterns of behavior that you've had going on in your life, and really going, how is that working for me in this situation? I might need to let go of a piece of that, the way I usually behaved, or I might need to let go of the whole entire way I've responded in the past. So when you do use these 5 aspects of your mindset to deal with challenging times, you'll be able to move through the challenge and the change without taking it so personally. And bonus, you will become a better person because you'll have time and the presence of mind to have questioned the way you were going into the change and whether or not that's going to continue to work for you as you come out the other side of it. And letting go of these beliefs and behaviors that we've had going on in our lives and used throughout our lives is really letting them go is really this kind of shedding that you might hear other people talking about. Shedding parts of ourselves so that we can grow into a bigger life. Shedding parts of our ego so that we can grow into better people. And as you shed your ego and your persona, and then you look maybe even at some of your shadow aspects during these challenging times, then you're definitely going to come out a better person on the back end than you were on the front end of the challenging time. So next time you're faced with a challenge, try to do at least one of these 5 things if you're not used to doing any of them, and see if it makes a difference in how you're able to respond and be during the change. Oh, hey, almost forgot to mention, I've published a new journal. Now it's available on Amazon. It's called Exploring Identity, Direction, and Destiny. And it's a 31-day journal so that you can reflect on sort of who you are, where you've been, and where you're going in your life. And I think it can be very helpful for all the things that we talked about in this video today, to help you, grow into a better person and really take that time to reflect on who you've been, where you are now, and where you want to go with your life. So check it out. I'll put a link down in the description box so that you can look at it more closely and buy it on Amazon. Thanks for watching.